These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? They're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
Breathe in, now breathe out, hands up, hands down, back up, tell me what you're gonna do now. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. What? Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Come on, rolling, rolling.
These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of America's Barley Basket. I am your host, Marlin Wells, alongside host Nathan Folsebach. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlin.
How goes it today, my man?
You know, I am here just like I usually am, surrounded with beverages, surrounded with, I don't know, probably what is some kind of black mold. Like I was gone from the basement cum dungeon for the first time in a while, and I came back and realized it is so fucking musty down here. Like,
oh, that's
like
not a good word.
It's like the air shouldn't be heavy when you breathe. It's like
you gotta open some windows, my man.
I got one that opens.
Okay.
I got one. Oh, and it's fighting the good fight, but I need some kind of dehumidification, I think. And the centipedes, a.k.a. the basement shrimp, have finally woken from their slumber, and they are aggressive. Like, I was laying where I am right now. I looked on the ceiling. Oh, look, there's a pencil crawling across my ceiling. Oh, fuck me, that's a centipede.
So, God damn.
I did what a responsible person did. I found the one thing that could spray, which was a bottle of Spick and Span glass cleaner. And fucking quickly shouted "Thug Life" and emptied a clip on that poor centipede.
Did it work? Do you have a confirmed kill?
I did. Here's the coward that I am. I was like, I don't want to be around when this thing gets real angry. So I just dosed it real good, shut my bedroom door, went to bed, woke up to find a big dead centipede on the floor that next morning.
Like a real man.
Yep, exactly. You know, I gut shot it and I let it stumble through the woods until it bled out.
While you took a nap.
Yeah, so just so callous.
You're like the guys that left Hugh Glass to die in that movie.
What has the centipede war done to me, Marlin?
It's robbed you of all your humanity. Yeah. This is the worst Starship Troopers reboot I've ever seen.
Me taking a shit as a centipede fucking slowly works its way towards me. I frantically look for something to throw at it. Not much. I instantly regret that.
Still starring Michael Ironsides, because he'll be in anything.
I always think of actors like Michael Ironsides. What did they say no to?
Not a lot, I don't think.
What must those movies have looked like?
I've always liked him. I have a soft spot for Michael Ironside thanks to Splinter Cell. He's the longtime voice actor of Sam Fisher in the Splinter Cell video games. So good
for him.
I've always liked Michael Ironside. The last one he did, though, did sound like he was drunk the whole time, which is a funny visual. Just Michael Ironside in a sound booth somewhere, just rattling off these espionage lines.
God.
We gotta cut the power to the keypad. Where's my daughter? Like, oh my God, it's so bad.
Just rambling about his own life, and they just have to write it in because they're running out of studio time. Oh, damn. Bombay gin gives me the trots. Okay, I guess.
I guess Sam Fisher. This one's about Sam Fisher's drinking problem, I guess. I can't believe they want 2 months deposit for a 1-bedroom apartment.
If Denise wasn't such an asshole, I'd still be at home with my kids. You have sex with one homeless woman. All of a sudden, you're public enemy number 1. Lock me up.
For all I know, Michael Ironside's a very nice man who just had one bad voice recording session.
And now he's fucking Runaways. We're just two creative minds, Marlon. We go where our muse takes us.
Yeah, just leads us by the nose.
I remember I saw Michael Ironsides in a early 80s thriller / horror movie where he's some kind of psychopath obsessed with a woman. I don't know if she's like a radio personality. I just, in my head, I remember her being of some renown, who ends up getting, I think she narrowly avoids an attack but gets injured, so she has to go to the hospital. And the whole movie is just him trying to get her overnight in this giant like LA hospital. And one of those like movies, it's on TV, so you watch it. It ends up kind of being a treat. Like, I mean, I probably saw this in the late 90s, so at that point in life, probably drunk. But in my head, I was remember like, that was way better than it had any right to be. And a lot of it was because Michael Ironside's hell of an actor.
Yeah, he is. He's good at what he does.
Yeah, chews up the scenery a bit, but sometimes you need actors like that.
Yeah, he plays a good unnamed military man in the credits. He plays a good Captain Number 3 in the credits.
Good at being stern.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
barking
unimpressed.
a couple of orders and cashing his check.
Yeah. Holy shit, I thought I had some more hot Michael Ironside takes, but I think that was. I heard the ladle scrape the bottom of the bowl. On to The Simpsons.
All right.
We are just kind of starting to dip our toes into episode number 4. Or pardon me, season number 12, episode 4. So
there you go.
Just jumping in here. Episode 4 is Lisa the Tree Hugger. Starts, as many of Simpsons episodes does, with television, and Bart sees an ad for what I think is the Game Station 256.
Yep.
That sound right to you?
That's what it was.
How early did you get on the PlayStation train as a young boy?
I owned a PlayStation 1, I think the PS2 was already out when I bought a PlayStation 1, and I only bought it. I bought 3 things for the PlayStation. I bought the console, I bought a Dance Dance Revolution game, and a Dance Dance Revolution mat, and that's all I played on that thing for years.
Oh, no kidding.
I did end up getting a PS2 a couple years later, but the PS1 was a dedicated DDR machine.
Oh, no shit. Well, look at you go. You had a single goal in mind, and you went for it.
I just needed to dance, Nathan.
You know, sometimes a guy needs to dance on his in his living room on a piece of rolled out linoleum.
Yep.
I only owned a PlayStation 3. I bought it for the express purpose to play a Aliens game based off the Aliens movie franchise. And that game sucked a huge pile of dog dick.
The batting average for Alien franchise video games is not good.
That's what I have been told. That I finally got to experience that firsthand. Yeah,
there's Alien Isolation is, I think, the only good one. Leans into the horror, but
if you
a lot of them are real bad.
If you go back to Super Nintendo, there was an Alien 3 game that was fine. Like, not great, but a decent side-scrolling shoot-'em-up type game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when fine is the best thing you can say, you're not in a good spot.
You know, the Alien franchise is so old. Do you think there's an Atari Alien game? There fucking
Probably
could be.
Not. I bet they missed. I bet they missed that. I certainly played the NES game. I certainly played Alien on the Nintendo console.
Oh, on the NES? No shit. I only remember it for the Super Nintendo.
I remember it being difficult and not any fun.
Oh, it's just a ringing endorsement.
Well, like so many of those Nintendo games, they were so like almost abstract. You couldn't tell what you were supposed to be doing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I remember that being exceptionally difficult.
Yeah, and a lot of the games I ended up with were just these throwaway cheapo games because, me or my brother would scrape together $20 and we wanted to buy a Nintendo game and we just get whatever was cheapest. And some of those games were so goddamn hard that I remember, once I got to, my teens or 20s, it's were they that hard or was I just a little kid? And then I finally got my buddy modded out a Dreamcast, so it had all the Nintendo games. Like, I'm going to go back and play these games. I bet they're easy now. Fuck no. They're harder now, because back then, that's all you knew. So you were like, steel, turns other things into steel, man. It turned you into a good gamer. Like, it was like, just destroy. And those games are like 56 levels. And no way to save? Like, unreal. I remember a lot of me pleading with my mom to let me leave the Nintendo on pause while we went to church. But my mom read in a fucking Red Book magazine that a house burned down because the Nintendo was on pause.
You didn't want to lose your place.
Yep.
I had to know, so I looked up. There's absolutely an Alien game on the Atari 2600.
No shit.
It is a blatant Pac-Man ripoff.
Terrific.
Where there's a maze level and you go around and collect all the shit. And then in between levels, you play what is basically Frogger, but with aliens instead of cars. And a person instead of a frog.
Oh, you're the person. Okay.
I mean, as much as a person can look like a person on a 2600. Yeah. It's a video game console with wood paneling. It can only do so much.
Yeah, it's true. When I'm shopping for a video game console, I always wonder what kind of fake mahogany can I get on the sides of it to really fit the motif of my living room.
Yeah, I really need to know when I'm looking for a video game console is how close can we get this to look like my buddy's dad's den?
Yeah. I want this to be perfectly camouflaged in a dad den. So Bart, he's yearning for the Game Station 256. He asks his parents for the money for it, and they tell him, giving him a resounding no for an answer. So he decides, hey, he's a 10-year-old boy. It's time to enter the workforce.
Yeah. He also threw his Game Station 252 in the fireplace.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe he's just a little too eager. He maybe should have slowed his roll a little bit.
God damn.
When I was his age, what I would do, I would sell my old system to help pay for the new system. That was a common practice. Did that with both my Super Nintendo and my NES.
I think I did that. Like later, after like post PS2, because I went from the Nintendo to the dedicated DDR machine and missed everything in between.
Oh, interesting. So you would have been. Well, no, I guess you would have been young for the NES, but it would have been a thing into the early '90s. Yeah.
Yeah, like that came out the same year I was born. We got it when I was probably 5 or 6.
I remember I got a pretty good deal on my 64 for how new it was, because my buddy bought one and he was furious that it had a joystick on it. So he sold me it for a song and went and bought a PlayStation because it had just had the D-pad on it. And I was like, man, I'm pretty sure these joysticks are going to be around. So you're going to have to adapt. He's like, fuck that.
Yeah, if that was his breaking point, he probably hasn't been playing a lot of video games ever since. To be fair, the controller design of the N64 looks like it was made for an alien.
Oh, God damn it. Is this what's going to end the podcast?
How am I supposed to hold this goddamn thing?
Is this how it ends, Marlin? Is this what's going to make me finally throw my laptop out a window? The Nintendo 64 is perfect in all iterations.
No.
It's like a giant, friendly loaf of bread. Sure, it's a little unwieldy, but it feels good. Cradle it sometime. Press it against your chest.
It looks like it would be the flying controls for a spaceship. Like, this isn't built for a human. No one has 3 hands, Nathan.
Marlin, if you have one of the 3 games that needed the D-pad, you're sure happy that it's a weird controller.
Much to be fair, much like anything that Nintendo's ever done, the games they made for it sure played real well on it.
Yeah.
But everything else, third party always suffers on Nintendo hardware.
Just last weekend, I went to one of the, every town now has kind of its hipster, like, throwback arcade, which, I mean, bravo, I fucking love, because it has all the games I enjoyed playing as a youngster. But
zero complaints.
This place also is kind enough to set up a Nintendo 64 on a projection screen, and just so happened GoldenEye was left in it, and your boy Nathan went and fucking clack some fucking heads together like a true G does. Like, holy, that controller fit in my hand. I was like, feels like home. That's what this feels like.
Oh boy. And
I picked Trevlin because, again, that's what you do. You get Trevlin, and they left it up to me, and I chose Stacks, and I chose Rockets, and they instantly regretted that decision because I was raining hellfire upon them. Very proud of myself. I am not much of a gamer, but God, compared to like 75 to 80% of the world, I can fucking wreck you on GoldenEye.
Not my bag. I never cared for GoldenEye.
Well, that is unfortunate to hear.
All of my N64 love fell onto those wrestling games at the time.
Dude.
Like No Mercy.
I think we've discussed that. Like, if I had to play video games for my parents' life, like it was like the stakes could never be higher, it would be WCW, NWO Revenge. Give me Stevie Ray and get out of the way because I'm just going to do the heavy kick all fucking day.
And you got to have the honor system that the other guy isn't going to just hit the stick to automatically kick out.
In this made-up Mortal Kombat style Nintendo death tournament I'm in, there's like a port in the back of your skull, and it can tell if you hit the joystick for nefarious purposes. And it just blows your brain up.
It's the dumbest fucking feature in any game.
Dumbest. My friend almost gave me a stroke when he discovered that. All of a sudden, I couldn't fucking beat him. He's being Eric Bischoff. He doesn't even have grappling holds. He can just strike, and he's winning.
Just the thought process of the designers, like, and then I don't know if they hit this button while they're being pinned, they'll automatically get up. It's like, what?
Yeah,
why is that a button?
I hope someone lost their job. I'm usually not. I will Karen it up for that. I want to speak to the manager of NWO versus WCW Revenge. But since Bart can't get the money, he needs to get out and try to find himself a job. He first gets a job at a barber shop where turns out the barber will only pay him in hair, which was a very good bit. The barber was very clearly insane, which I enjoyed. Then he gets a job as a menu boy at a Chinese restaurant.
A Thai restaurant.
Oh, Thai. Pardon me. Yes.
But yeah, I never considered that is someone's job to hang those doorknob menus.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, but especially pre-internet. My God, that's how you got your name out. Like.
Mm-hmm. I didn't live anywhere where we had them or anything, but I knew they existed. Like, hang a pizza menu on the hotel door or whatever.
Yep. Put them in the entryway of an apartment complex. Just a stack of them.
Sure. Yeah.
I only once ever had a job where I had to do anything like that. I worked for Makita, and we were told, it was like my second day there, like my third day living in the city, and never lived anywhere else except my hometown. I'm 19, fucking fresh-faced young boy. And he's like, okay, Home Depot's having a big sale. I need you guys to go down there and hand out flyers to people walking in. Which I was like, okay, whatever, boss. You're in charge. I'll do whatever you say. And he's like, you're going to ride with this guy. I'm like, okay, he looks a little sketchy, but whatever. He knows the city. Get in the car with this guy. He's 30. I'm 19. He immediately drives to his buddy's shitty apartment, and I get to see what cocaine looks like in real life. So we're a very sad-looking man in a way too open fucking robe, chopping up monster truck lines of cocaine at fucking 11 a.m. on a Monday. And they're like, do you want some? I'm like, I'm gonna call my parents. Get a train ticket, because this is scary and unfamiliar.
Born narc, Nathan Folsabach.
I'm good that way, but holy shit, I was like, what is happening? Yeah, I couldn't. How just casually they were doing coke in front of me. You grew up in a small town. There wasn't a lot of cocaine getting done in rural North Dakota.
Accurate.
Yeah. But there was in the mean streets of Nashville.
Yeah, that would have rattled me at 19. To be fair, I'm right there with you.
Thankfully, we didn't have to do that anymore because we got a very stern call from somebody from Home Depot that didn't want us handing out shit in front of their fucking store.
Oh, so now you just have a coworker almost twice your age, high on cocaine.
Yeah. He ended up getting a vehicular manslaughter charge. I think we never saw him much after that.
What? Someone that does cocaine while they're on the clock is making crimes? Get out of here.
Who'd have thunk?
God damn it. I was really rooting for that guy to be the hero of the story.
No, not a bit. But not even know he was the villain. He was out there living. I mean, he did possibly kill somebody, but...
Oh, boy.
So during this, Lisa finds out about there's an environmentalist group in town, and they're doing some kind of in public demonstrations, just being militant teens or college age kids. And Lisa falls head over heels over the fucking guy who, Lisa, 8 years old, already has the worst taste in men. We've seen this a handful of times now. This guy, dude, this fucking guy.
I figured you would like this guy.
Here's what my note says. My God, this dude is such a butt plug. I think, isn't the line I'm a level 5 vegan. I won't eat anything that casts a shadow.
Yeah.
I wanted to drive a car through my TV.
Yeah, like the bad kind of activist. Just fucking insufferable with his white boy dreads.
Yeah. Oh, yes, good call. Oh, my God.
I don't know that he would have made it into Non-Threatening Boys, but maybe.
Yeah, I forgot about Non-Threatening Boys Illustrated. He's not a Corey, but maybe Lisa's moved past the Coreys at this point.
He's also voiced by Joshua Jackson, who
Pacey.
was Charlie in the Mighty Ducks movie. Is what I would know him from.
He is Pacey on Dawson's Creek, I believe.
Yeah,
I might be wrong. Is Pacey one of the women? I don't know. I just know he wasn't Dawson.
Also in what is it? Is it The Skulls?
Yeah, you're right. The Skulls. Good. Was he in Halloween H2O? I'm getting all my people mixed up. I know Michelle Williams, I think, was.
There's a whole swath of those nondescript brown-haired white guys from that era who I can't tell any of them apart.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, the horror movies were kind of becoming economically viable again. I think it was some kind of weird Illuminati pact you had to sign. If you wanted to get into acting, you would have to star in a teen drama, and then you had to have a starring role in a PG-13 horror movie. Then you could maybe choose your next adventure. But that was the rules.
Those are the prerequisites.
Yeah, but man, speaking of, is Michelle Williams possibly the best actress of the last 20 years? Fucking A. I just watched some... you'd recognize her if you saw her. Blonde-haired lady. She's in but every 3 years she's in a big Oscar baby movie that's just she's amazing in. I'm saying this because I just rewatched what is it called? I can't believe I can't think of it. Manchester by the Sea. Which, holy fuck, if you want to fucking drive headfirst into traffic and not be upset about it, this movie is so fucking depressing, but it's so good. And there's some scenes with Michelle Williams and Casey Affleck? Question mark? Is that his name? Not Ben, but them
not
two.
Ben, but the other one, yeah.
Discussing their failed marriage. That's holy fuck. Can I fit in my own microwave? Because I'm going to fucking try. This is so heartbreaking, but she is so fucking good. She's also great, and she's she's Heath Ledger's spouse in Brokeback Mountain, and she's, she's not the star, obviously, but she's so fucking good. Man,
I'm staring at her discography or her filmography, and I've seen probably 8 movies with her in it, and I don't recognize her at all.
No shit.
Like, I've seen Prozac Nation, I've seen Brokeback Mountain, I've seen Schenectady, New York, like Shutter Island, fucking Venom. Like, I don't. And then I'm looking at her photo, no idea who this lady is.
No kidding. And we are having same planet, different worlds.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know if I'm trying to.
Also, did she come up in your mind because of Halloween H2O?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
just
where this
curious
started.
how we got here.
That's where this Simpsons podcast has led
God
to.
damn it. Yeah. We're less than halfway through the first episode, Nathan.
Okay, back to task. We can do this. Oh, one thing I also got to mention before we get too far into the plotline. How great is it that early on we see Bart reading an Itchy and Veronica comic?
Yep. I thought of you knowing your Archie love.
I think about once every couple episodes they write a joke just for me. There's one coming up next episode that I have a very big note on.
There's one right around this time in this episode that fucking wrecked me with Homer watching television, and he flips to the History Channel and sees the planes and says, the Luftwaffe, the Washington Generals of the History Channel. Son of a bitch. I was dying. That's a good joke. That's a great joke, whoever wrote that.
To the uninitiated, the Washington Generals are the team that travels with the Harlem Globetrotters, who they embarrass every game. Yeah. So Lisa has now been invited to the meeting with the environmental militant kids, and there's a scene where Homer drops Lisa off at the group, and she's like, "You're welcome to come in, Dad." And then he's like, "No thanks. I like to save the environment my own way." And then he just drops her off and spins a bunch of donuts in the parking lot, and then goes, donuts. That is such bad fucking writing.
Yeah, that was pretty weak sauce. I don't know, like him just whipping donuts would have been fine.
Yeah.
But then you had to do get it, it's donuts, it's Homer.
The better joke would be that they're out there. He drops Lisa off and he kind of wants to seem cool. So he whips a bunch of donuts in the parking lot thinking that would impress him, when obviously it's the opposite of what they would want.
Yeah.
Look at that. Holy shit. I can write for The Simpsons, Marlin.
Oh, look at that. Yep.
Fucking send him my LinkedIn account info. Good God.
Congrats on your spec script here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. They reference Burning Man. I didn't know Burning Man was this old.
Yeah, I had a similar thought. But I guess, this came out in 2000.
Yeah. So, yeah, over 20 years of people getting naked and fucking dry humping cactuses while they're on fucking peyote in the desert.
Maybe you and I should go to Burning Man. I think we would fit right in,
God,
right?
Man, if they... Seems like a lot of heat. How high elevation? Maybe it's high enough it isn't that hot, but I think it is.
Two great big pumpkin boys out in the desert, just fucking white as can be, didn't bring any shade, don't do drugs, just drinking beer at Burning Man.
Yeah, and for every beer I'm drinking 4 Pedialites because I know the onset of cramping is just around the corner.
Yeah, I have friends that go to Burning Man every year and they love it.
Shit.
And they're not insane hippie people. They're kind of just regular fun time folks.
Yeah, hey, I'm all about having fun. I hope people have a blast. Fuck all the cactuses you want. I hope.
There's a new T-shirt.
Yeah, that's some more merch for the podcast store. So Lisa really wants to impress the boy she has a crush on. So she's just sitting there. She's obviously way younger than most of the people, and she just wants to get in on this. And they're kind of talking about what they should do, what their next plan of action should be, and they decide that their next thing is going to be to save the oldest tree in Springfield from being cut down. And there's kind of some hemming and hawing about how they're going to do it, who's going to do it, and Lisa, just dying to impress this boy, volunteers that she will climb up into the tree and live in it, because if she's living in it, they can't knock it down, which I guess the boy is marginally impressed by, would you say? I don't know, like... He thinks it's kind of cool, but he's also so detached and showing genuine emotions, not his bag, so...
Yeah, he also, like... I don't think he really cares. I think he's... you get the... He has a real, like, just putting on a front vibe this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. And, so... right away, I think Lisa's kind of into it because, like, she's stopping this big thing, and there's like, I think it's like a Texas oil man's gonna buy it.
Hell yeah, it is.
He wants to make a humidor out of it. Is that right? Or drive-through.
The world's first drive-through humidor.
But they can't do it now that Lisa's living in it. So right away, she's a hero, you know, and. But then everyone leaves, and it's just Lisa living in a tree. That's not fun. And I like how, you know, she's missing her home and being with her family. And I love how when she looks, the Simpson family are not just, they're fucking hanging up their stockings, and they're coloring Easter eggs at the same time.
Yep.
That was a great visual. That's like, I'll bitch about the Simpsons when they're not good. That was good.
That was funny, yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I got to kick. So Lisa can't hold it in anymore. She has to go sleep at home with her family. And she chose an inopportune time to do that.
Well, she's like, I'll just duck away for like just an hour. And then like she gets home and everyone's asleep in the living room. So she like, I'll just sit down for just a minute, and then dozes off.
During which time that goddamn tree is struck by lightning and burnt to the ground.
Which is so good. And I think it's Wiggum on the news is like, yeah, we think the lightning was attracted by this metal bucket that she had for getting things up in and out of the tree.
Yeah. But the twist of this is they assume Lisa's dead. They assume she died in the tree fire because they don't know that she sneaked home. And so they're watching on the news, and the Texas billionaire that was going to buy the tree makes a park in her honor, which kind of sounds fitting. That's what she would have wanted. She wanted a nice park. But what she didn't know...
and everyone's happy. All the hippies are happy.
The town is happy. Then it turns out it's actually a fucking amusement park. Which is that goddamn post with her head on it is so great.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And I like that the family all benefits from her being dead. Like Bart gets straight A's and Homer gets free beer. Yeah. And then he shows up again with that fucking tape recorder of Lisa saying, "Hi Mo, if anything ever happens to me," what is it like? "Please give my dad free beer and pour cocktail onions down your pants."
Yeah.
That Homer would have her record that is a very Homer thing.
There's a great, I think is it maybe at like the christening of this park, is that where the mayor is talking and Milhouse? There's a Milhouse appearance where he's like, "Good luck, Milhouse."
Yeah, because I forget, it's something about, someone's here to play a sax solo on Lisa's sax, and Milhouse runs up and takes it, and they can still clone her from her spit, and he goes running off. Good luck, Milhouse.
Like he's somehow gonna pull that off.
Oh my God.
The mayor's tone. Yeah, good luck, Milhouse. He's stumbling, running away with that saxophone. It's so great.
Never change, Milhouse.
So, obviously the hippies are furious that it's a gigantic amusement park and there's all sorts of chaos as they're going to bring that goddamn park down. And they tip over the giant post with the Lisa head on it, like the big entryway sign, which leads to disastrous results as it's basically a giant battering ram.
Yeah.
That in some kind of, I don't know, defiance of what we know of physics, just continues to destroy the landscape.
It wipes out Omnipave, which is a great fucking name for that oil man's business.
Yep. Yeah.
And then plows through Kentucky Fried Panda, which Homer is upset about. Yeah. And then like smashes through a hemp shop that all the hippies are bummed about.
Heartbroken about.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps going across the American West. And we get that little ditty at the end. This land is your log. This land is my log. That was I like that ending. Watching that giant Lisa head just plow through the desert.
Yeah, I thought the ending was very good. It just like plowing through all these landmarks and shit, and like going side by side with a train, and the conductor's waving at the log, and they show it go down whatever that famous bendy street in San Francisco is. Like just this weird American tour that this log goes on.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that episode quite a bit. I thought that was, like, it's not peak Simpsons, but it's pretty fucking solid Simpsons.
This kind of breaks a streak or a common occurrence of me thinking the first episode in a batch is pretty lackluster, so that was nice.
Yeah, no, this was a good one. I was into it. Episode 5 is Homer versus Dignity, which is a title that I really liked, and an episode that I was mildly into.
I was very into it.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to go on record. One of my favorites, top 5 of the last 3 seasons, like 10, 11, 12. This would be an easy top 5er for me.
Interesting. Okay. All right. We're out at a restaurant celebrating Bart's first A. I love the flashback to how he managed to do that.
Yeah, goddamn Mrs. Krabappel.
He had trapped himself in the school closet while Skinner and Krabappel were banging in the classroom, and in order to distract himself from what was going on, he just memorized the planets that were on the poster in the closet.
I love how he got an A in astronomy. Kind of 4th grade offers astronomy as a class.
I like that he was just like, because he kind of like is peeking out and then turns around kind of wide-eyed and horrified of like, oh geez, anything else? Let's look at these planets. The family, Homer's credit card is declined, and they are forced to work off their dinner by being the mariachi band.
Which is so great.
Yeah.
It's such an awesome business strategy.
Yeah. Not like, oh, you got to wash dishes or something like that.
Yeah.
Just, you think that's still a thing that happens or has ever happened, or is that just a TV and movies thing?
Yeah, I think file that under only on TV.
Yeah. I can't imagine that ever happening in real life. Like, but it's one thing you always heard about, like, well, you can't pay, you got to wash dishes the rest of the night. It's like, no, I don't think that's how this works.
I just think it's like you're a stranger in my diner at 10 p.m. and you don't have your wallet. Just like, fuck it, get out of here. You win, I guess. I'm not going to invite you into the fucking kitchen area with me.
Yeah, either you let him go or you call the police, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Simpsons go to a financial planner to see about getting their finances in order, and the financial planner essentially tells them there's nothing they can do. And when they when she goes to collect her financial advisor fee, they just run. They just dine and ditch on this lady.
Yeah.
I don't know that character's name, but she's been around quite a bit lately, and I always like when she shows up, like the pantsuit lady. She was in that episode where they have the Super Smart People Club, which is not what it was called. Mensa, there we go.
The Mensa, there you go. Yeah.
Super Smart People Club.
And I think she's also... There's one of the episodes where Lisa is like an author or trying to be an author. I think she's like works for like a publishing agency or something.
Yeah,
so she pops up here and there.
She's always some manner of businesswoman, yeah.
Yeah.
I always like when she shows up. We get to the power plant where Smithers is taking a week off, and Burns is left to just kind of fend for himself. There's a fantastic scene of Mr. Burns with the vending machine in the power plant, where
Yep.
he like is talking to this vending machine like, "Oh yes, I'll have some candy," and it's a machine, so it doesn't respond or give him candy, and he's just like, "You've made a powerful enemy." It's so good. I loved that.
And the candy he asks for is something just ridiculous, like some 1800s confectionery treat.
Yeah.
Like,
there's we see Homer and Carl and Lenny in the cafeteria. Burns comes in to get something to eat, and Homer's he's hyping himself up. He's gonna ask Burns for a raise, and he goes up there, and Burns gives Homer some money so he'll throw pudding at Lenny. And I believe it's Homer who says, "But Lenny, he's a war hero." Which, all right, I love the slowly unfolding backstory of Lenny.
yep.
And Homer hucks this pudding at Lenny. It explodes on the side of his head. He gets a bunch of his eye, and he shouts, "Oh God, my eye! I'm not supposed to get pudding in it." Son of a bitch! I was laughing. And then Homer gives him a little more money to do it again. And then he gives him a little more money to do it a third time, except this time he hits Carl, and Burns goes running over to Carl just like, "Oh, what have you done? Not Carl." I love that there's this weird respect that Burns has for Carl. Like, how could you? How could you do this to Carl? Takes him to the iWatch station. He's just horrified.
The premise of this episode is fueled at this time would have been fucking peak Tom Green popularity. Do you think?
Yeah,
And kind of Jackass might have been right around the corner.
That timing probably works out right. I don't know that there's a connection, but the timing probably would have been pretty close.
I just think like this has a real Tom Green vibe to it.
Yeah, kind of.
A lot of acting ridiculous in public.
Yeah, a lot of that was all around this time. Yeah, Tom Green and Jackass probably being the top two of all that. But the Homer kind of has his new job here as Burns's prankster for cash. Burns sends him into the comic book shop with, I think, 20 grand, and he buys Amazing Spider-Man #1 and eats it in front of the comic book guy.
Such a great idea.
Yeah. I love that Mr. Burns is into this, like, because of course he is. Like,
he's very evil.
Yeah, dance for my amusement type shit.
There's a scene too where they're in a grocery store, and I love the fact that just the touch of Mr. Burns will rot any produce.
Yeah, he picks up a piece of fruit and it rots.
Yeah.
Not a lot of feeble Burns jokes anymore.
No,
like,
good call.
There's things Burns does. Like, I feel like if that same joke had been in season 3, he'd have tried to pick up the fruit and not been able to.
This is more evil Burns than feeble Burns.
Yes, exactly. We get to kind of his grand joke that he's going to do. He puts Homer in a panda costume and sends him out into the panda exhibit at the zoo, and he's out there like dancing like a human does, and then the zookeeper is just like, "Oh, we better calm him down," and they fucking cattle prod the shit out of Homer in this panda costume, just shock the hell out of him. And then the bull panda comes wandering out of the cave, and Homer trips over something and lands on a rock with his ass in the air, and then they close the curtains like, "Oh, kids, we don't want you to know what's going on in there," as Homer is violated by this panda.
There is some great shit during this when he is hunched over and someone goes, "Oh, look, she's presenting." It's just so ridiculous. And when Panda Homer's trying to escape, I do not like the ominous tone that Mo uses when he says, "You're not going anywhere, cutie." Like, that sounds like something he said before.
Yep.
I do not like that.
That was a little creepy.
He was too into that.
I like that. Just the visual of it. I like that Homer wakes up next to this panda like it's the morning after and like has to sneak out of bed.
You never want to make the zoo walk of shame.
There's no good place to walk of shame, but the zoo is a pretty fucking bad one.
Yeah.
He gets out of...
It's one thing to make love to someone you believe is a lower social strata level than you. It's another thing to get wasted and fuck a sea otter. It's a whole other level of shame.
You're always saying that. You more than anyone else I know is like, don't be fucking sea otters. You're
sure. Are they playful? Yeah. Is their fur probably wet and smooth? Why not?
They got little hands, Nathan.
But don't. I know your carnal desires.
You're explaining this like it's the 50th time we've had this talk. No, Marlin.
Marlin, and within 5 blocks from here, there is a zoo we're going to drive by pretty soon. I just need to... No.
Pressing my face up against the window.
I'm going to pull you back like you're an overeager dog.
Do they got the skinny beavers? Sit? Marlin, they're sea otters. We've had this talk. It's a different animal.
Sit on the floorboards until we're past the zoo and think about what you did the last time and how that was wrong.
They won't let you off with a warning next time.
They do a lot of talking to get you out of jail. Out of zoo jail.
Which is just the zoo, really.
Just just a display they're not using currently.
Homer escapes from the panda love nest and gets himself out of the cage. Lisa encourages him to stick up to Mr. Burns, and he does. Burns is there like, I'm going to get you to do all sorts of shit with his big pile of money. And Homer sticks up for himself, puts his foot down and says no, and then takes all that ill-gotten money to Costingtons, which is a pretty solid department store name, and buys all of the toys. And is there the clerk at Costingtons?
What is going on?
Is that a reference to something?
I don't.
The guy
like with the yes, yeah.
I have no idea what is going on with that character.
I literally have that question. What's going on, Marlin? Dear listeners, if you have an idea, we're all ears.
Yeah, I missed something, I guess. But Homer buys all the toys and is going to throw them out at the Thanksgiving Day parade while dressed as Santa on the Santa float. So we're at the Costingtons Thanksgiving Day parade.
There was 2 fraud off the bat. Like, we talk about jokes written for me. When they fucking pointed out that there's a funky winker bean balloon at the parade, Marlin, I almost shit my pants.
Is that a comic strip character I've never heard of?
Yeah, but let's say if Beetle Bailey is the Ramones, Funky Winker Bean is the Dead Boys. Like, one is a comic strip that people recognize. Fucking dude, Funky Winker Bean. First off, it's one of those comic strips where the characters age, which is really fucking weird, like, so it's like it started off as teenagers, now they're in their mid-40s.
Weird.
And I think the Minot Daily News is like one of 17 newspapers in North America that fucking carries Funky Winker Bean. So I grew up reading Funky Winker Bean. And then we get the 1-2 punch of Funky Winker Bean. And then it is Marge looking at that giant Noid balloon. her voice when she goes, "Oh, look, there's the Noid. Avoid the Noid. He ruins pizzas." I fucking died. I love Weird Marge more than her voice when she says that is so fucking good.
She's so excited about the Noid being there. And this is in 2000. There wasn't no fucking Noid float in 2000.
Are easily a decade removed from the last Noid advertising campaign by Domino's.
Oh man, have you ever read that? Shit. Have you ever read that fucking story about why they stopped using him? Oh
no, do tell.
Oh god, I'm not going to get any details right here, but there was like it was towards the end of that ad campaign where people were kind of getting tired of the Noid anyway. It really got the nail put in the coffin because this guy who I think was named Leonard Noid, who had severe mental problems, thought that Domino's was talking about him, and he went into a Domino's with a gun and took a bunch of hostages.
Oh, wonderful.
It's like, I'm barely brushing the surface of the story, but it is a bonkers fucking story about the Noid.
No, that is amazing.
The fucking Noid, at the height of his popularity, had 2 Super Nintendo games.
And an NES game. I was just going to mention that.
Crazy.
I remember seeing a lot of Noid pencil toppers when I was in grade school.
Oh, sure.
I remember a lot of Noid, just the big head with the ears. Yeah.
And
avoid the Noid. He ruins pizzas.
And
so good.
If I'm not mistaken, the Noid is back now in some capacity. Like
good for Domino's.
I have seen the Noid within the last week.
No shit.
Yeah.
I want to, God bless YouTube. I could find this out in 15 minutes, but what was the fucking genesis of the Noid? Like, how did they tie him in to the advertise? You know what I mean? Like,
he was the fake made up. It was, I think, when they started doing their, like the hot bags that keep the pizza hot, I think the Noid was the character that would make the pizza cold. And so in order to help avoid the Noid, we have this hot bag thing that we deliver your pizza in now.
Oh, fascinating.
So they made up a villain to personify the collapsing freshness of your pizza.
That cools pizzas prematurely.
Yep.
What a fucking lunatic. We should avoid the Noid. That's a weird thing to be into.
Yeah, next time you're looking for a fun read, look up that shit that went down with the Noid.
I am gonna. And then at the parade, we get like the celebrity commentators, which all parades have. There's always like a man and a woman of some, usually morning show type hosts. Mm-hmm. And for this parade, we have Lisa Gibbons, who I think she started out as like maybe one of the anchors on like Entertainment Tonight or Access Hollywood, one of those like syndicated afternoon shows that, never before seen pictures of Burt Reynolds lying near his pool, just like shit like that. But Lisa ended up having her own morning talk show, morning/afternoon talk show. And all I remember, I have 2 memories of Lisa Gibbons. One is a friend of mine went to a very small school in rural North Dakota, and their government teacher had totally given up any pretense of trying to teach these kids anything. So for their government class, after a few weeks of just trying to teach the kids and failing, every day he would roll in the AV cart with a giant tube TV on top, and they would just watch the Lisa Gibbons show for an hour. Imagine watching, I mean, this is like watching Entertainment Tonight for an hour for your fucking government class. Oh. We wonder why people vote for game show hosts.
Yeah, no shit. Public schools really doing a bang-up job out here.
Because that's what we have for civics. I just like the idea of watching. I think what it was is like, well, if I make it this easy, kids won't skip. So they'll show up for this. They'll just sit and watch Entertainment Tonight or the Lisa Gibbons show. Yep. And this might be a peek behind the curtain, but I, on multiple occasions, cranked one out to Lisa Gibbons. Because this was before the internet, kids. You made do with what you had. She was a remotely pretty lady on basic television with antennas. So
in the mid-afternoon.
Make hay when the sun shines. Little afternoon delight.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Holy, well, thanks for that.
So shout out to Lisa Gibbons helping me through some tough times.
The weirdest what up girl anyone's ever gotten. Holy shit. So we're at the Thanksgiving Day parade, and Homer is out there throwing gifts and being a good Santa. When suddenly Burns pulls up in a fucking pirate ship float and boards the Santa float and wants Homer to pull the ultimate prank on the town, and he's waving money and whispering about what it's gonna be. Offers Homer a bag with $1 million in it, and we see Homer ogling the money, and we're like, well, here's Homer's gonna participate for sure in whatever is going on. And the next time we see Santa is throwing buckets of fish guts at the people on the street, just dousing men, women, and children in fucking fish chum. And then we see Homer down there with the family. He didn't take Burns's dirty money. He's got more dignity than that. And it's Burns in the Santa costume.
Yeah.
Throwing fish guts, proclaiming Merry Fishmas to everyone.
And with no repercussions.
No, of course not. He's rich.
There's no justice.
He's rich, Nathan. Rich people don't have consequences for things.
Yeah, I think it's like it just shows what a brutal look at society. Simpsons writers.
I liked this fun prankster version of Burns.
Yeah,
we've never really seen this one before.
It's maybe being evil and mischievous is what keeps him from being feeble. So he has to continuously to be awful.
He can only have 2 out of 3.
Yeah, to retard the aging process. He has to just continually do shitty things.
Yeah, he can be.
It's like a weird version of the movie Cranked.
He can be rich and evil, or evil and feeble, but can't be all 3 at once. Yeah, that was, I you know me, I'm just happy to get some Mr. Burns in my life, so that was fine, but I didn't think it rose above fine. I thought all the panda stuff was exceptionally odd, but all right, whatever.
Oh, yeah, and I got kicks out of that, and the goddamn parade stuff. That fucking Marge thing, man. I don't know, man. I was dying. I was like, just her looking up a grown woman acting like the Noid is a real thing that you have to be vigilant against. Avoid the Noid. He ruins pizzas. So, and just again, it's a decade past the Noid being relevant. There's so many fucking. This was like a throwback to when the Simpsons were kicking my ass with laughs, in season 5, just the insanity of that kind of. Fuck yeah, man! I was really into this episode.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know.
Going through it again, it's this was a pretty good one actually.
We're up to episode number 6, The Computer Wore Menace Shoes, which has to be a play off The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, which was a 70s Disney live action show starring a very young Kurt Russell.
I feel like I get maybe 5% of their episode title puns. I miss almost all of them all the time.
This one is reaching pretty deep because I do not think The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes was a big hit. I just know because I saw the inside the actor's studio on Kurt Russell. I knew that he starred in a series of isn't it Walt Disney when they found him dead? He was lying on a recliner, and next to his chair side table was just a note that had Kurt Russell written on it, just the name Kurt Russell.
Weird.
So yeah, Kurt Russell was Walt Disney's last thoughts, whatever project they were working on.
We should all be so lucky as to go out thinking of Kurt Russell.
To be the last thoughts of an elderly, evil, fucking anti-Semite.
I was about to say, I don't know that I want to be Walt Disney's last thoughts.
The episode, I like how this episode started like a very confused Homer outside the locked doors of the power plant, like not knowing why he can't go to work. And I also love that Lenny and Carl pull up together to inform Homer that there's no work today, that there's something was going on at the plant, so there was no they were shut down. And I am tickled pink to the idea that on their days off, Lenny and Carl just drive around together in a convertible and just
I like
go on adventures.
I like that those two aren't just work friends; those two are pals.
Have we been given proof that they do not live together? Have we ever seen their homes?
Lenny was in a house. I don't remember the circumstances, but wasn't Lenny in a house and then one of the walls got torn down and he was like, "Don't tell anyone how I live," and it was just him.
You're right. Yep.
That's as close as I can get for you.
Okay, so they have a separation. They both have their own homes, but I do like that they spend a lot of time together. And they kind of jokingly kind of poke fun at Homer for not having email, because that's how word got spread that that work was canceled. Homer's like, "What's an email?" And so he finds out pretty quickly that he needs to figure out how the hell computers work. So he goes, and there's a joke. He goes to the computer store, and they kind of laugh about how expensive it is. And like, especially back in those days, I don't know if it's so much of a thing, but like just how quickly a computer became obsolete.
Yeah.
So Homer has gotten into the computer life. Quick, I want a Marlin hot take here. What's your thought? Because Homer has one when he's setting up his computer. What's your thought on those weird-ass, super ergonomic keyboards with like almost like a hill and valley for like, some keys are bigger and weirdly shaped, so it's like supposed to be molded perfectly for the human hand?
I've never owned one, but I have used. I forget there's a name for it, but the keyboard that is split, like in between, like the G and the H, so it's almost separate hands. I've used one of those and really liked it, and then was like, that was great, and never thought of it again until you just said something.
Yep, like one of my old jobs, you didn't have your own cube. You just sat down wherever there was an open spot, and some of those cubes had those keyboards. And we've discussed on this keyboard that I have a very remedial keyboard skills. So the idea, you may as well just fucking cut off a third of the keys on the keyboard, because I cannot use my right hand all that well. I guess we're replacing the D's with B's in this word. I hope they can figure it out.
I'm a pretty good typer and a pretty good 10-key user. So, but my thing is and has been for the longest time, I rarely use a computer. I'm always just on my fucking phone.
I see.
And when I do use a computer, I'm at a laptop. I don't have or need a separate keyboard. So I usually deal in pretty basic bitch keyboards, but the time or two I used one of those split ones. I was like, yep, I get it. I can see it.
So Homer now has a computer, and he's learning about the wonders of the... Oh, I have another quick question. So this is like 2000, 2001. Would the Wells household have had a computer at this time?
Yes, but not one on the internet.
So you had a computer that just coldly mocked you from the corner of a room.
I think it was, I think there was a lot of like business done on that computer. A lot of typing up, tax forms and stuff for the farm. And there was a lot of Madden NFL 2001 played on that machine.
That's so great.
And a bit of Wolfenstein 3D, but mostly Madden. Picturing
you trying to do a Jamal Williams juke move using the arrows on a keyboard. These times,
I was
time
big,
it right.
I was big time. I had a gamepad, a USB gamepad to plug in.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I'd say
it was a good time. What was that Madden? What was the year? Who was that fucking Tennessee Titans running back that was real
Eddie
good.
George?
Eddie George. There you go. The one with him on the cover.
Okay. Oh, I totally remember that. Yeah. That was right around the time I was getting seduced by the NFL 2K football games.
Oh, sure. I wouldn't come around to those till 2K5, the last one. I got in on the last one.
That was the second to last video game I ever owned. Do you remember there was a huge controversy, was brand new day of release 1999?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, I am buying that today.
And it was a better game than Madden that year.
In 95% of ways it was better.
And then
infinitely better in a lot of ways. Then EA Sports, they were shook and they went to the NFL and had a handshake deal and fucking got the exclusive rights to the NFL. And Madden has been treading water for 16 years now.
Yeah, Madden puts out a good one about once a generation, once a console generation. Hasn't been good for a lot of years, but
yeah, unfortunate. Homer is now discovering the internet and all the joys of it, and he now learns that a lot of it is just like saucy trash talk and gossip and things like that. So Homer, he develops a secret identity. Is it Mr. X?
Yep, that he's anonymously reporting on gossip.
Yep.
There's a moment that hit me like a ton of bricks where he puts something on his blog or his webpage, whatever you want to call it, and Lisa pipes up and says, "You can't post that on the internet. You don't even know if it's true." And I was like, oh, that hurts real bad in 2021.
Yep.
Ah, jeez. Oh, man. Everyone's fucking aunt should have had a Lisa in their life to tell them that 20 years ago.
Yep. Well, I saw here that the government's going to do this. No, they're not, you fucking dope.
The vaccine's full of babies. Shut the fuck up.
Out of ground up babies. I maybe have told this before. I used to work at a call center that sold supplements, dietary supplements, most of which was probably pure snake oil. But, we sold some vitamins and minerals. But a lot of it was real hippy-dippy shit. And we sold this product that was embryo extract. It was some extract from embryos of chickens that, I don't know, make you fucking slam dunk a basketball or reverse the aging process. Something really cool. That's what we were really. And I got a call.
I like that that's what it says on the side of the bottle. You can slam dunk a basketball or it
live
reverses
forever.
the aging process.
Something pretty cool.
I like to think that you have to make the choice. Do you want to slam dunk a basketball or do you want to be young?
I'm picturing it in bullet points. Slam dunk a basketball, live forever. Something pretty cool. With like a smiley face holding sunglasses.
Yep.
Oh, that's very cool. So I'm intrigued. That little guy seems to know what he's doing.
It's like the Raisin Bran sun.
Yep. There you go. Perfect with sunglasses. Yeah. Poorly edited on.
Yeah. Dumping out two scoops of pills.
But I got a phone call one time, and you can tell when you're about to talk to someone that's a fucking idiot because they have like a speech ready. Like it's almost like they're just waiting for you to stop saying hello so they can unload this barf at you. And it was just like, I want you to know that as a Christian, I am appalled that you are selling a product made from embryos. Embryos are God's gift to us. There are babies, and they should be allowed to grow up to be full-grown babies and not be made into products that you sell on your catalog.
Oh, God.
Yep. So I got paid $8.50 an hour to hold in the old gods. It's like, ma'am? I was like, are you talking about the so-and-so that's on the front cover of this one? So it's like, those are made from chicken embryos. And I could hear the very rusty, creaky gears in her brain turning. And she just doubled down. She's like, I already know all I need to know. And then she hung up on me.
What does that mean, lady?
You clearly do not know all. You know shockingly. Yeah, ma'am. We have decided that we're going to start a clandestine operation where we take human embryos, dry them in the sun, ground them into powder, put them in capsule form, and then sell them in a mail order catalog for $7.99 a bottle.
That's
what all of that risk for that.
And we're going to openly advertise and sell them.
Just brazenly selling human remains in a pill form. She got us.
Fuck you,
Bravo.
lady. God
Bravo. Damn it. Middle-aged Nancy Drew, you did it.
Those people have just always existed, apparently.
Yeah,
Sadly.
Calling those airstrikes one of these days. I had her address right in front of me on the screen.
You know what's the best thing for a forest, Nathan? A fire.
It's very true. We need a controlled burn every once in a while. Oh my God! But his Homer's website / blog kind of starts as more like just gossip, but then it goes more towards like investigative journalism. Would that be the right term?
Yeah, like Quimby's secret pool that he spent the pothole money on.
So great. And I think the big one wasn't it? Burns is selling uranium to terrorists, which of course he is.
We did get just a touch of feeble Burns there when Smithers turns on the hand dryer and it blows Burns back against the wall.
Yep.
That felt good to see a little bit of feeble Burns.
There was a scene I like where Homer's hiding in the air vent to like eavesdrop on Homer's meeting with the terrorists. He drops his fucking notepad through the grate, and Burns picks it up and shoves it back through the vent and just mutters, "This place is falling apart." It's so good.
Yep, that was gold. I liked that one a lot.
Oh. And also, there's a good scene, too, where Homer is just going on and on about his podcast and all the saucy gossip he's heard.
His podcast?
Or his blog. I almost said that like 3 times now. And meanwhile, Bart is just going on about how troubled he is.
Yep.
He's
God,
I took
that
a
scene
swing
was so
at a
good.
cop.
Yeah, they found a switchblade in my locker.
I'm just mad all the time. Jesus, there's so many red lights going off here.
That scene was so good, but Homer's just like just focused on the internet thing.
Yep. I took a swing at a cop. Just awesome for a 4th grader.
My favorite was, I'm just mad all the time. It's like, oh, that's a thing we need to fix today, Homer.
So Homer busts the news of the uranium sale, and because of that, Mr. X wins the Pulitzer Prize, which Homer is a very vain man. He makes sure that everyone knows he is Mr. X, which he gets a little bit of adoration, but he's pretty quickly drugged and brought to a mysterious island where people who know too much are imprisoned because of like kind of breaking out like a conspiracy theory type thing. There's a great one where it turns out that flu shots cause increased holiday spending, which I fucking loved.
Yeah, like that all came before the kidnapping, because like once he outs himself as Mr. X because he can't stand to not get credit for something because that's how he is, then people treat him like a pariah and won't talk to him because they're worried they're going to end up on his website, and so he starts just making shit up, like the fact that people control your mind with flu shots, which again hit pretty different today.
God, good call. You're right. And that was probably seen as such a silly thing in 2000.
And during that scene, we get that great sequence of or not sequence, but just a scene of Flanders reading that about the flu shots and being like, I knew it, and turns and Rod and Todd are huddled up under a blanket with fevers, just shivering, and one of them's like, Mommy? Because apparently Flanders is an anti-vaxxer.
Yep. Of course he is.
Oh, God. Yeah, those few handful of shots all at once, I was like, oh, man. Whoa, geez. All right.
So Homer is trapped on this island, and kind of by, I don't know, just a weird, ominous, kind of clandestine intergovernment agency. Would that be the way to describe it if you had to guess?
Some manner of Illuminati New World Order or something along those lines.
And I love to help make it the perfect crime, they send an evil Homer replacement to take his place. You get a few good gags involving the evil Homer.
Yeah, the imposter German Homer.
Yep. And Homer did a great Homer move. I enjoy we get a little bit of asshole Homer. One of the other conspiracy theorists that's trapped on the island has painstakingly made a raft to escape the island.
Over years.
Yeah, years of building from scraps. And like total fucking Tim Robbins and Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Like just one spoonful at a time. And Homer, within 2 seconds of hearing this, pushes him over and steals his raft.
And the guy is like, damn it, that's the second one. Like,
Yep.
this happened before.
Great. Yep. So Homer escapes the island, and he comes to the Simpsons household and sees his doppelganger there, and they throw down fake Homer versus real Homer, and of course, real Homer wins. I mean, we assume. Who knows? But we assume real Homer wins. And also, there's the great visual when they're in the Springfield forest with that sign that says "Witch Free" since 1998. That's the second Blair Witch reference we've gotten on The Simpsons as many seasons. Like,
yeah, that was good.
And that's, I don't know, it didn't seem like there was any kind of real interesting ending to this kind of.
Well, Santa's little helper comes running up when they're having their family moment and gasses them, and they get taken back to the island.
That's what I knew the dog was involved, yep. And then, I don't know, It's sometimes with these episodes where the story gets so far-fetched, it gets hard for them to put a bow on it in 23 minutes.
Yeah. As far as that one, I thought that ending was fine. Like, yeah, okay. Because it's either you add on that last little bit of them getting gassed and sent back, or you just have them hugging in the living room and that's the end.
Yep.
So I'll take the one more joke, even if it's not an A+ joke.
And I thought this episode was fine. Fuck, man. I think the first three, I mean, in my opinion, the last one was the best of the bunch, but I have not been offended by the quality of any of these episodes yet.
No, me neither. They've all been pretty good.
Good enough.
Yeah. Including the next one, I think, which is episode 7, The Great Money Caper. I fucking love that we're at a magic theater and Marge is slamming Long Island iced teas.
Yep.
I like
such a good combo.
I like cutting loose Marge.
Yeah.
Are you a Long Island iced tea guy? Do you like a tea?
Yeah, I mean, I will regret the life-altering heartburn I will get from them and hangover, but man, they go down pretty quick. That's a nice flavor profile they have.
I don't remember if I've told this, but I did not have my first Long Island iced tea till I was probably 26 years old, and me and a buddy were out at just somewhere for lunch, I forget where, on a weekday. Just went and got lunch somewhere, and they had a special, like, half off Long Island iced teas, and he ordered one, and I was like, you know what, so will I. I've never had one of those. He's like, seriously? Get one. So, unaware of their potency, I had like 6 Long Island iced teas with lunch on a weekday, and then went home and went to sleep because I was shithoused.
Yep.
I was unaware of how spicy a Long Island iced tea would be.
You are so lucky that your brain is smart enough to aim you towards your home, because that story could have ended many ways.
Yep. I could have just shat right there in the restaurant.
Yep.
And
could have shit on the vinyl bench seats of a fucking Bennigan's.
Fought a cop. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that could have happened.
Yep. Drove in your car through a moving school bus. Just fucking Smoking the Bandit style. You don't even slow down. Just turn up the stereo a little more. There we go.
There we go. Ah, winger. Hell yeah.
My first thought was Molly Hatchet flirting with disaster.
Yours is
I love
better.
the chorus. Yeah. You slapping the dash as a kid hanging on to the top of the car. You're unaware that any of it happened. Oh, cool. Cutscene. This isn't a video game. You're really driving.
Fun fact, I fucking cannot stand Molly Hatchet's Flirting with Disaster. Oh, I hate that song. Marge eventually gets on stage and participates in the magic show and like gets a couple good zingers in. I like that Marge is killing up on stage. They're heading home. Bart gets himself a magic kit at the gift shop.
Yeah. Did you ever go through a stage where you were interested in magic?
I think I had one of these little magic kits like Bart has when I was a kid, like 8 or 10 probably, but I don't think I ever got the bug.
Yeah. I kind of did too, but then I think maybe we've discussed it before. Thankfully, the pragmatic part of my brain had like a heart-to-heart with my heart. Like, it's like, hey, listen, I know you really think this is cool, but I'm going to tell you, you are already doing a myriad of things that are going to make you bully material or like bullied material. You're giving way too much ammo. We don't need to add junior magician to that list. We don't need you running around the junior high with a fucking cape on.
Listen, Nathan, it's already going to be pretty bad. So
yeah, exactly. It's going to be a real tough sledding for about 3-4 years here. So
life's gonna come at you fast, Nathan. You're gonna
the less peculiar hobbies you can add on to the list of your personality traits, the fucking better.
You're gonna be plugging enough holes in this dike. Don't go punching any extras.
We don't need amateur magic, amateur illusionist.
We don't
have a fucking windbreaker with live doves in it because you have to perform at an old folks home after school. Quiet, Lulabelle. It's 6 period. We're almost there. Not yet, my pet.
Teacher looking up. What the fuck? Is that a pigeon?
No, it would truly take a master illusionist to sneak a pigeon into this classroom. Oh, look, it's the kid that smells like bird shit.
The showman side of you can't help it jumps up, lets the pigeon out, jazz hands.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Prepare to be amazed.
I gotta get that pigeon. I gotta get that pigeon back.
I gotta reach up for it so my shirt's too short so my stomach hangs out. Oh no!
Somebody's slapping on it. Ah, look at him.
Why must this happen?
Titty twisters. They knock your hat off.
From
like
the
keep
teacher.
away with your wand. Like all of the bullies. It's a bully avalanche.
I just wanted to amaze and delight. I just wanted to convey a sense of wonder.
Look at how many scarves are in my pocket.
Yeah. Like, thinking that would somehow stop the bullying. I can only imagine the words that would be said to you if you would pull out a collection of colorful scarves. They would be very hurtful, very not PC.
You're at the old folks' home later, one eye swelled shut and a big split in your lip, just like, is this your card? I don't want to do this anymore.
Because of through my day job, I got to be part of a magic show last week, which is a weird thing to say.
Hang on, for real? This is real now?
Yep.
Okay.
We have magicians with the company I work for. We offer online entertainment, and they had a pre-show magician hired. And first off, 5 people showed up to the magic show. As a performer, Marlin, you know that's less than ideal.
Yeah,
and
you'd like that to be higher.
Better yet, not one of them turned their camera or microphone on. So he's just performing in front of 5 black screens that say like Donette, Leonard. And I don't know if you know much about magic. It involves a little crowd participation. So he's like, okay, he did a quick trick where he made all 4 kings reveal themselves. He removed them from the deck. He's like, okay, Lori, I'm going to need you to give me any card, ace through king, any card. And I'm going to pick out all 4 of them. And she's like, okay, spades.
Oh, God.
Not a
suit, like, Lori.
He's like, that would be a 13 of a kind. I need a 4. So she's like, now she's not. He's like, any number, anything 1 through 5. Okay, I'll take 1 through 5. And he's like, I need you just to choose. And I'm like, is Lori fucking with him? Is this like, is there a goddamn magician being punked right now?
See, magicians get bullied well into adulthood, Nathan.
And he was a goddamn soldier trying his best. And luckily for him, there I am, big dopey fucking Mark that just clapping like this guy's a real sorcerer. Like, holy shit.
Look at it, that was my card.
He's probably going to go to hell for this. But bravo, sir.
Oh, God. Boy, I can't imagine what a Zoom magic show looks like.
Yeah, it's about what you'd expect.
Yeah. Holy
shit. Yeah. He mercifully was able to tap out after about 10, 15 minutes. He did a fine job, but
good for him.
Earned his money.
Way to be a trooper. We've all had those shows.
Yep.
Where you really earn it.
Oh, my gosh.
So the Simpsons are on their way home from this magic show, and a fucking sturgeon falls from the space station and lands on their car, which might be my favorite, like, holy shit thing that's happened on The Simpsons.
I think I have reached the peak of trying to find relatable content. You know what sentence I have written? You ever go troweling for sturgeon, Marlin? And then right behind it, in all caps, what the fuck? Question mark. That is not casual conversation.
When Simpsons goes this route, it doesn't provide a lot of jumping off points.
In like episode 1, it was like, hey Marlin, are you a dog guy? And now it's like, hey Marlin, do you ever fish for prehistoric fish?
I have not, Nathan. I've never gone sturgeon fishing.
I mean, it isn't out of the realm of possibility. People do catch them in like the Missouri River.
Oh,
so, like,
yeah, it's a real thing up here.
I'd be very amazed if that was a thing you did and I didn't know about it.
Yeah, as long as we've been friends, I probably would have filled you in on that by now.
At some point, your Facebook profile picture would have been you grasping a 7-foot-long, 200-year-old fish.
That would be my Tinder profile picture for sure, because you can't be a human being on Tinder without a fish in your fucking picture in this backwoods ass part of the fucking country. God damn it.
They wouldn't do it if it didn't work, brother. You gotta start fishing.
No matter the gender, they all got fish.
Yeah,
it's fucking.
I have a picture of me kneeling in front of my Doomsday Prepper collection of Kirkwood tuna cans. Doing the over-the-shoulders thumb point to the tuna behind me.
You must be swimming in it.
You into the security that only canned fish provides?
You must be dehydrated with all the Tindering that's happening.
Yeah, it's a rough life, but I'm making it work. I'm chasing my Kirkland tuna salad with Pedialyte to keep my electrolytes up after all this vigorous pre-tuna sex.
Those omega-3s.
Yeah.
Coursing.
I got a 55-gallon drum of brown rice if you want a handful of carbo load.
Just eating it dry on your way to a mattress on the floor.
And use the box springs to make my ham radio reach South America. So I can talk to some of my expat friends in Costa Rica. He's dreamy.
What do you say? Well, you and me, one of these days, we make a break for Argentina.
He just seems so decisive.
He knows what he wants.
I'm tired of dating boys. I finally found a tuna man. Plus Costco membership.
There's a lot of dry rice on this mattress. Sorry about that.
He said for our anniversary we could eat that 1997 commemorative Hershey Kiss the size of a football. He bought it at an estate sale.
All this happening in a shipping container you've buried in the Turtle Mountains somewhere.
Yeah. Hey, I was halfway through digging a hole in the side of a hill. Like, why don't I just cover it in trash?
It's hot down here. Yeah, it gets hot. It gets pretty warm.
So Christmas Eve will be at my parents'. Christmas Day will be at our trash mountain.
Oh shit. So Homer and Bart decide to take his magic kit down to the boardwalk to do a little busking, get some cash for their car repairs since the fucking space sturgeon demolished their car. Homer and Bart then are in a fight because they didn't make hardly any money. I think it's at this point they hit up Flanders, who's on the boardwalk, like, come on, chip in a little, and Flanders is like, oh, I don't partake in the dark arts, and leaves. Yeah. So Homer takes off, leaving Bart behind. Leaves his son on the boardwalk because he didn't make enough money as a street performer.
Yeah, really escalated to child abuse.
Yeah, that got real quick. But Bart makes enough money for cab fare and then some by just having his hat out, and people are like, oh, a little homeless boy. And he makes a bunch of money, so much so that he gets a taxi and beats Homer home, also having time to have gotten a steak.
Yeah, which I thought that was a great touch.
And so now they're like, well, we're grifters now. It happens pretty quick how they go from, they embrace the life of the grifters. Yep.
All of a sudden they're Paul Newman and Robert Redford in The Sting.
I like how they get Brockman. They're at home putting frosting on a couch throw pillow, and Marge comes in and asks what they're doing, and then there's a long pause, and she goes, I should just back out of the room, right? And she does. Just wants nothing to do with whatever they're doing. And I like the grift on Brockman where it's like they have that pillow, that frosted pillow in a cake box, and Bart is, quote unquote, blind, and he runs into Brockman when the cake falls down, and then there's Bart is sad, and Homer comes in and is mad that he ruined the cake, and Brockman has to just be like, just take the money and buy a new cake. I'm not dealing with this. And then so they get a successful grift there. They do it to Hibbert later too with a fake I lost my dog thing. And then they come across Abe Simpson, who turns out is a grift master and was doing this back in the day. And he's going to help them knock over the old folks' home.
Yeah, like it's almost like he was just like waiting for this moment. Like, it's like he knew the day would come,
just like
when they would embrace the family trade.
I can finally get back in the game. con manning.
And was this not the first time Grandpa had been featured in a long fucking time?
Yep, we haven't, much like that, the couple of Burns appearances, it's been a while since we've seen Abe Simpson, I feel like.
Yep.
Like, we see him briefly get eaten by the dolphins in the fucking Treehouse horror episode, but outside of that, not much. So they're running a grift on the old folks, and it's working. They're collecting all the money, and then a motherfucking FBI agent is there and busts Homer and Bart, and then like drives them to jail, keeps the money in the car, and is like something along the lines of, I'll let you guys turn yourselves in. And then they do, but they're trying to grift him because they tell Quimby they just want to like see what the view is from that one cell or what. Or no, Homer tells him, I want to scare my boy straight.
Yep.
So they go into the cell and then wave at that guy like, okay, we turned ourselves in. And then that guy, who, by the way, is voiced by Ed Norton, is like, what? Fuck you, and takes the car and the money. Turns out he was also a grifter. It was a double grift.
Wasn't it? I think it was him who, wasn't it? His badge was from the Colgate Cavity Patrol.
Yep,
Such a
good.
great touch.
And so Homer and Bart get home, no money, no car, and they make up a lie. They tell Marge that they were carjacked at church by a crazed foreigner with a big bushy beard, and then they wake up the next morning to see on the television motherfucking groundskeeper Willie getting arrested because he's a crazed foreigner with a bushy beard. I also like that Willie lives in like a fucking Unabomber shack.
Yeah. We've seen Willie in a few different domiciles, and none of them are very promising.
No, I think my favorite was the garden shed on the school grounds.
Exactly.
But Bart fucking filled that with fucking Coca-Cola or something a few seasons back.
It was a cream corn. That's what it was.
There you go. That's what it was.
I don't know what part of the storyline it is, but at one point Maggie is with Patty and Selma, and she has like a Patty and Selma wig on. I got a kick out of that visual.
I don't remember why she's with them, but yes, they're trying to convert her or something, and they're just chain smoking, of course. They're just gunning sticks in front of little Maggie.
It's good for infant.
Yeah. So we're doing the trial, and Willie's on trial, and Bart this whole time is like, "You got to come clean, Dad. Willie didn't do this, and he's gonna get in fucking trouble." And like Homer continues to be like, "Let's just see where this goes." And eventually they convict Willie, and as he's about to be taken away, he grabs a cop's gun and shoots Principal Skinner, who goes down. And then Homer breaks down and confesses that this was all a con, and everyone like gets up and is in on it. Like they grifted Homer.
Yeah.
All in a extremely elaborate setup.
Just gonna say.
I like that Principal Skinner is like, yeah, everyone was in on it. And you hear Willie in the back go, I wasn't, which means he really took that gun and shot Skinner. Yeah. Willie did not know the gun was full of blanks. Yeah. He legit was going to shoot his way out of that courtroom.
I wonder if they were just so confident in the direction it was going to go, or did everyone have squibs on them?
Right? God, that was fucking funny. And Willie's mad. Like, well, I wasn't. Like, he's so pissed. I then really like this ending. I don't know how you feel about kind of the sideways endings, but Lisa, I think it's Lisa, points out how wildly far-fetched this is, that they could get everyone to play along just to teach Homer a lesson. Like, Abe is the judge under a mask, like, and he had made his escape earlier. Marge with the squibs in her hair, and Principal Skinner with the blood packs and the blanks in the guns and having the whole town coordinated and in on it. She points out that that's all pretty dumb and far-fetched. And then I think it's Otto comes running in and it's just like, surf's up, dudes, and then they just surf. There's just an ending where they're all surfing with some surf rock playing, and then we get the credits.
My favorite little tidbit in this, if you watch that again, if you look, everyone else is really into it, and there's like these scenes where it's like 2 or 3 characters on screen surfing side by side.
Sure.
Skinner is just standing upright, not balancing at all. He's just standing in Bermuda shorts, just like he would stand with a suit on at school. Which everyone else is doing like a surfing motion, but Skinner, I don't know why that cracked me up. Like,
I thought that was a fantastic ending. Like, as far as their hard left turn endings go, I was pretty into that one.
And I love the goofy ass ending, so I'm with you.
Yeah, just like, yeah, wasn't this dumb? And then surfing montage and then credits. Awesome. I was very into that one.
Yeah, it was a little hit and miss for me, but yeah, there were some parts I really enjoyed.
Yeah, the episode as a whole, hit and miss, ups and downs. The ending itself is my favorite thing.
Yeah,
and just that one fucking joke of Willie. I wasn't in on it. Holy shit, that's fucking funny.
So we're up to episode 8, the final of this batch. It is Skinner's Sense of Snow, which... holy fuck. If you thought that the computer wore tennis shoes is a fucking deep pop culture reference, Skinner's Sense of Snow, I'm assuming, is about a fucking tiny-ass independent movie called Smilla's Sense of Snow, which I think was fucking Finnish or Dutch. I don't think it's even an American movie, because I was a movie nerd at this time, and I fucking saw that movie. Like, it is very obscure, but by God, they went for it. So
I had no idea.
Yeah. It starts, Homer is at home. I think the pennant gag is getting worn out.
Are you done with the pennant?
I think so.
I wrote down French circus pennant.
Yep, and he has a TV sports pennant at the beginning because he wants to watch some TV sports.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep, and then he gets drug out to see Cirque du Soleil or whatever they call Cirque du Soleil.
I think they just call it the French circus. But yeah, it's clearly what it is.
And have you ever been to any kind of big Vegas show before, Marlin?
I've only been to Vegas once for like a 4-day weekend. I got fucking dragged along to Chris Angel's Mind Freak, which was awful.
Was it really?
Yeah, his stage show in the Pyramid, whatever that one's called, the Luxor.
Really?
It was not good, like not at all. I was bored the whole time, and so much of it is like screen and lights. I'm like, yeah, everyone has screens and lights. We don't this isn't a trick at all. Like I was unimpressed with that one. Again, wasn't my idea to go to that one. But we also
your mind wasn't even mildly freaked.
Nope, I was not freaked in the least. And then the other show we went to a Cirque show. Fuck, what was it called? I keep wanting to say Bestiality, and that's not what it was called.
Oh, that sounds like something more like a Carson City desert type event.
I think it was called Animality. No, that's
for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's Mortal Kombat.
That's a finisher.
I forget what that show was. But there was a lot of animals, and it was all about like human sexuality. It was fucking amazing, was what it was. Zoomanity. That's what that was called. And it was outstanding. I sat there like a fucking child, just my mouth open, just like, look at all the flips they can do. Like, boy, that lady's sure bendy. Like, I was just an absolute overjoyed idiot the whole time. It was so good.
the whole time, like, why didn't I bring my furry costume?
Just seeing, it was shit that I had never fucking seen before, because I had never had any amount of interest or anything in that. And that I didn't get dragged along to that one, but it wasn't my idea to go to that one. And I came out of there just like, holy shit, that was rad.
Yeah, I love when shit like that. It's like a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, here's this guy in a fucking latex suit who's like inside of a big metal hula hoop just rolling around, and I didn't even know you could do that. Like, I felt like a real bumpkin being like, look, you got all the lights. Look at them.
Slapping strangers on the leg, right, sitting beside you. You figure that's a real raccoon? Is there a person inside that costume? I don't even know if I want to know.
Have you been to anything like that in all of your Nevada excursions?
I see. Again, I'm usually a Reno man, and they don't really have a lot of bells and whistles or working fire alarms. But in my one of two times I've spent a few days in Vegas, a friend of mine, it was her idea, and thumbs up to her for thinking of it. We went to some random casino because they were hosting. I think at that point it was a touring musical. It was Evil Dead the musical, and it was Evil Dead presented as a musical, and it was a sensory performance. So you were told, okay, if you're sitting in these seats, wear clothes you don't want, and or if you're sitting in these seats, we will provide a poncho.
Splash zone.
It was very out of hand how much gore there was, and I am, for a horror movie guy, not the biggest Evil Dead guy. Doesn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah, like I prefer 2 when it's a little more fun. But I kind of don't care for any of those 3 movies.
Yep, same here. But they knocked it out of the park.
Awesome.
Yeah, the cast was into it. It was just such an amazing show and so over the top. So yeah. I don't know if that's a thing anymore, but if you have a chance, and even if you like horror movies in general, you're going to have a good time.
I love that it's presented like a GWAR show.
Yeah, the first thing that crossed my mind.
Anything that reminds me of GWAR, I'm pretty in favor of.
Yep. But that's I've never even been anything else close to like a Vegas style show.
Gotcha. I would recommend anyone see a Cirque show. That was fun.
We've had this happen before with the Trash Day episode where they start out on the street at night digging through people's trash. Does this fucking Cirque du Soleil shit have anything to do with the episode? Not fucking really.
No, not really.
It's weird. It's just fucking lazy fucking writing. But we'll keep going.
Maybe they just needed some filler. Hey, we want to do an episode where they get trapped in the school. Well, I guess we'll have it start at this Cirque du Soleil show, and that's where the storm will hit. I don't know.
So, and then that storm does hit. So the kids, of course, they're kids. They hope that school is canceled. So they eagerly listen to the radio. Which, man, sounds nowadays like an old-timey thing, sitting around the AM radio waiting to hear the school cancellation announcements.
Yep.
Which, oh boy, there was something pretty rad about a snow day when you were a kid. Even though I always had a slice of pragmatism where I was like, we're just going to have to make it up at the end of the year. And
see, for me, it was, we're just going to have to work today then.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad I didn't miss out on having to grind corn this afternoon.
Imagine, I'm learning so much here. They could never teach me in a classroom. All this resentment. How can you teach it in a textbook?
Thank God I didn't have to go learn things, and instead I get to shovel corn while being hollered at. Awesome.
But it turns out there is going to be school that day, so they get on the bus, and fucking Otto, man, he struggles, but he gets him to school. It's very dicey, and that got me thinking about some of the days that our bus driver had to drive that fucking giant ass rear wheel drive school bus, the giant child coffin through the very treacherous winter weather.
Same here. Nothing like no seat belts, no barely any heat. You just froze to death on this propane school bus for an hour.
I forgot how cold it was. Yeah. And I don't know, do you remember this happening? Like me and my brother would be waiting. It's like, this is taking a while. And then all of a sudden another bus would show up. It's like, yeah, your bus is stuck in a ditch.
Yeah, I had a few of those.
I almost had forgotten that memory until right this second. Like, oh, look at the weird kids on this bus.
Occasionally our bus driver, if the bus wouldn't start or the bus was stuck or something, had a 3-row Suburban, and there were so few fucking kids on the route that he could get everyone into that. So sometimes he would just show up with a Suburban.
Just his daily driver.
Yeah.
Look at this, cup holders. So fancy.
Oh, thank God this one's got heat in it. Not like your fucking bus.
Yeah. God, buses are an insane idea. A person that's not trained to deal with kids, and he is driving a moving vehicle and is the only adult in that fucking place. And the first bus I rode had easily 30 children on it, ages 5 to 18. That's not a good age mix.
That's half a dozen different societies all trying to function in this fucking tube, this metal tube.
A Lord of the Rings tube that's hurtling down a gravel road. So they get to the school. They're not happy at all about the fact that there's going to be school. And, and of course, everything is shut down because the teachers aren't going to be there. Because I think the teachers union's like, yeah, we're having a fucking lice, or we're going to Capital City for Lyceum or whatever excuse they needed to like not go out into that sub-zero hellscape.
Yeah, it was something about the teachers union. Like they decided to have a fucking meeting that day or something. Yeah. They show them briefly just doing a conga line. Yeah. And fucking Skinner points out that this is the last day before Christmas break that they had to have school. They could have just tacked on one more day to Christmas break.
Such a shithead. They do a real good job of villainizing Skinner with this.
Yeah, it's very good.
So there's no teachers, and at some point it's discovered that they are absolutely snowed in. Like the snow is higher than the door.
Yeah, they're trapped in the school.
Yep, and right away, there's a little bit of chaos, but then Skinner remembers his training as a military man, and he takes over with an iron fist and is running a very tight ship. We do get a flashback to his POW days, and we get a great visual of one of his men not being able to hack it anymore, and he breaks out of their little bamboo hut and is immediately eaten by an elephant.
Yep, it's so good.
Yeah, and doesn't he kind of like do like a kind of a flashback? It's like that elephant ate my entire platoon. I think this is the second man-eating elephant we've had.
Yeah, all the elephants in The Simpsons are omnivores.
Yeah, yeah, good point. And
we also get a motherfucking Unter appearance who we haven't seen in forever.
Yeah. So the
last time he was brought up, yeah, Skinner was trying to fend off his parents because he's missing.
Yep. and kind of the side story is Flanders and Homer are going to kind of work together to free the kids from the school.
Yeah, they're trying to get to the school to save the kids.
Yep, and ends up they're going to take Ned's car, and there's a good scene where Flanders is like, well, what about Mr. Plow? Like, you used to do this for a living. And Homer acts like none of that happened.
Has no recollection of Mr. Plow. That was a great joke.
Great.
Because they just have Flanders ask, what the audience is asking. You're even wearing the coat, and he's got the Mr. Plow coat on, but has no idea. I never had a snowplow. No idea.
There's a great scene too before the child uprising happens, where I can't remember if they're sleeping for the night, if they're just taking a midday nap. I think they're sleeping overnight, and Ralphie goes up to Mr. Principal Skinner. He's like, I can't sleep without my Reggie Rabbit. And Skinner's response is that some kind of plush novelty? Such a great way to describe a stuffed animal. And his response, yes, sir. Like he would even know what plush novelty means.
Yeah. God, it's so good.
What does he give him? Is it like a Brillo pad?
Yeah, Brillo pad. And he's like rubbing it. Ralphie rubs it on his face. That is like, ow.
So they finally I think it's Nelson decides he's going to make a break for it. Is that how it... Or no, it's Bart. Bart gets like a ways in.
Bart digs a tunnel.
They're talking about buttresses, which is so good. You fool, this tunnel will never... There's not even any buttresses. And they get Bart out of there, but Skinner has to go in after him, and he ends up getting stuck in a cave-in, and that's when the kids realize Skinner is no longer running this operation. There's now been an uprising, and now Bart has like a general's outfit on, and we get like a flashback to he is kind of now the North Vietnamese officer, and Skinner is again a POW trapped in a dodgeball gunny sack.
Yeah, they got him tied up in the dodgeball bag.
So that's basically what the next 5 minutes or so is just them running roughshod over the school and doing everything that Skinner does not want them to do.
Yeah.
And kind of on the side, we have Ned, Homer, just Homer being, it's Ned slowly getting more and more exacerbated by Homer's dipshit antics. And then I think eventually they hit a hydrant. And they're basically frozen under a cascade of hydrant water.
Yeah, it encases the whole car in ice, so they're stuck. I also like that they just have fucking Flanders' 2-door car with a piece of his roof tied to the front of it as a snowplow.
Yep. And this is where we get the first hallucination scene, where from the carbon monoxide leaking into the cab, and Homer's kind of like a Middle East sultan, and he has a bevy of beautiful women feeding him grapes, and then one of the camels starts talking, and it's actually Ned, who is woken from the carbon dioxide stupor and saves their lives.
Yeah, I like that at the school we have the kids, fucking running roughshod, doing whatever they want to do. And there's a scene where they find Skinner's paychecks, and they're like, he makes $25,000 a year. And Bart does the math on how old he is, and he's like, that makes him a millionaire. It's such a kid's way of thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't get a whole lot. They always make them seem older than they are, so it's kind of nice to get that kind of, they're just like the naivete of a kid.
Yeah, to be in a place where $25,000 a year seems like so much money.
I can remember the first time I got a job that paid me more than $10 an hour. I was just like, this is it. Easy street from here on out.
I made the big times.
I did it. So at this time, Skinner is trying to figure out ways to get out of the gunny sack and take control of the school. He eventually gets a gerbil? Is that what the animal is? In the cage?
Gerbil or a hamster.
Yeah,
I don't know the difference.
He puts a note in the little ball that it can roll around. So he wants the hamster to go free him. So he sends the hamster off, which I think it just immediately falls through the snow.
Yep. Go get help, Mr. Nibbles. And it rolls out of the school a few feet and falls into the snow.
And they're basically inadvertently saved, and Homer accidentally drives into a giant salt tower. Apparently, it's like a cracker factory.
The cracker factory. That's where Milhouse's dad works.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think of that. That actually is part of canon.
The Springfield cracker factory.
Yeah. So he tips over a giant silo of salt. which, I don't know if you're a science whiz, a salt will do a number on ice and snow. And it basically melts a path right to the front doors of Springfield Elementary. And the waking nightmare, I mean, actually, at this point, they're having the time of their lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had a book burning.
Yeah. It got troubling at times.
I like that that Bart burns a copy of Johnny Tremaine, and I kind of celebrated a little because I was like, man, fuck that book. We had to read that book in like 7th grade, and that book is dumb.
I never even recognized the title.
Oh, it's just fucking trash. If I'm remembering right, I think it's about a fucking some like silversmith's apprentice in the American Revolutionary War. It's I remember really hating it.
Yeah. So it sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I do like, though, if you write a children's book that like goes over, you're a made man. That book is going to keep getting I'm sure the same books I read are the same books my mom read, the same books that my children would read. Like,
yeah.
You think they're still reading Tuck Everlasting or Where the Red Fern Grows? They still got to be reading them, right?
Probably. We read Tuck Everlasting. We didn't read the Red Fern. But yeah, for sure. The only issue is that that's a one-time payday because the schools keep those books forever. That's
true. Yeah.
They never replace those books.
Some like antique bookbinding magician that keeps those books alive for another class.
I think every like required reading novel we ever had in school was heavily masking taped up.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of them had covers.
Good point. So the kids are freed. Finally, they kind of almost forget about Mr. Skinner, Principal Skinner, like, because now they can leave the school. He's still stuck in his bag, and he's hoping that he makes the line that, please, thank you, Nibbles. Please chew through my, is it ball sack? Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Very, very crass. And I did appreciate when that snowmobile pulled up, and it was Superintendent Chalmers on a Springfield Public School snowmobile. I got a big kick out of that.
I liked that joke a lot. That this school that's barely held together also at some point spent some budget on a snowmobile.
Yep, I got a big kick out of that. Am I missing anything? Oh, I guess it kind of ends with them all riding back home together, and the carbon monoxide from Ned's very heavily damaged car starts leaking through, and Homer starts to go back into his like Sultan fantasy. And are we led to believe he is attempting to sexually assault Bart? Because he thinks Bart is one of his harem?
Kind of, yep.
Yeah, that's how we're going to end a sitcom, I guess.
And then hallucination camel Lisa is like, good night, everybody.
Yep. I thought this one was okay.
In Ned's destroyed car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked this one. I laughed real fucking hard at that scene with Ned and Homer about Mr. Plow and how Homer has no recollection whatsoever.
And like to the point Ned is like kind of getting like frustrated. Like
yeah. You had a plan. You're wearing the coat, Homer.
Yeah, that's that's the big one, yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, I thought that was funny. All in all, what I will call a pretty fucking good batch.
I would say, unless there's one I'm forgetting, the most consistent batch we have had in weeks.
Yeah, I would call, like, I would happily call all of these episodes like a 4 out of 5. Like, yeah, these were all fucking good.
So yeah, I am with you there. Yeah, this is, I think, yeah, we might have to go back to season 9, and I wonder if there was even a season 9 batch. Yeah, I think there was. Season 9 had a handful of episodes that the peak was almost still peak golden era Simpsons.
Sure.
But the valleys were like, oh, the good times are over.
No, these were good, especially like I remember I kind of fucking flush these out of my memory banks as soon as we record one of these, but I remember not caring for last week's a whole lot. So this was a nice fresh batch.
Yeah, this is fun. Good work, Simpsons.
You still got it, The Simpsons.
Kind of. You're not always terrible, The Simpsons. Hats off.
They've never been terrible. They've
you're
been
right.
less
Forgettable.
good than they were.
There's been forgettable episodes.
Come in here with your fucking hyperbole.
Yeah. This is the Simpsons podcast is only fact-based.
Yep.
We pride ourselves as the most pedantic Simpsons podcast in America. Letter of the law.
Yep. Nothing but semantics and technicalities as far as the eye can see. That's what everyone's here for. Next week we'll do 5 more. We'll do episodes 9 through 13.
Math, you did it.
Yeah, I had to. I have trouble with math, Nathan.
Sometimes numbers are hard.
I'm not a math guy.
So tune in next week to our no longer hot takes, only peer-reviewed takes.
It would be a funny gag if you and I just did an extremely straight-faced, no jokes, no side stories episode of America's Barley Bat. Yeah, that would be an 11-minute episode. Yeah. That would be just like the length of an Adult Swim cartoon.
A lot of a lot of citations because we have to show our work and what our sources are. Like a lot of just reading critical reviews from the year 2001.
Yeah.
Variety magazine said about writer so and so.
Simpsons star Nancy Cartwright had the following to say about this episode.
I enjoyed it.
End quote. Yeah, so we'll do those next week. I don't know what you got going on in life. Not a lot over here. It'll be over by the time this comes out, but as of this recording, we are knocking on the door of Memorial Day weekend in America, which
we are.
A nice little 3-day weekend, often looked at as like the kickoff to summer. So people go camping or go have cookouts and stuff. We have international listeners. To anyone wondering why I'm explaining what Memorial Day is. But are you doing anything? I know you love a pontoon float and a grilled hot dog once in a while.
It is not going to be pontoon weather in my neck of the woods, so I am refraining until it is because I don't want the forbidden fruit of pontoons and grilled hot dogs just tantalizingly close, but it's too chilly to enjoy them.
Yeah, and you don't want to taint the perfection that is a grilled hot dog on a pontoon.
Which, ironically enough, is probably about 75% taint. if we were to cut down as to what they're made out of. Only the freshest raccoon taints are made to Oscar Mayer.
As we mentioned before, not a boat person, but I could see myself enjoying a pontoon.
Yeah, it's more stable,
I just think I would still be the guy admonishing everyone else. Like, easy, you're gonna tip it. You're rocking it, guys. That's enough horseplay, fellas. Just stone sober, just holding on to a
bracing
rail the whole time.
Yeah.
Knuckles turning white because I've been at it for 5 hours.
Somehow viciously seasick on a lake.
Quit running around. Hey, get those kids sat down. More life jackets.
This is life or death.
Yeah. I'm a nervous boy on the water. I don't like it.
We're gonna, that's gonna be some Patreon content. Is we're gonna do a series of me teaching you how to swim. That's going to be so wonderful.
You can't do it, man. You may as well try to teach me how to fly. It's not real.
It's a stigma you have built up in your head. It's become all-encompassing. It is stopping you in your professional and personal life. We all see it, but you do not. It's just because you don't know how to swim, and we're going to get you swimming. So you're going to be swimming in success and the veg.
I don't think I don't think it's holding me back from anything, Nathan.
We see it in your eyes as soon as you enter a room. That is a man that's afraid of splashing.
And I don't think you've got the forearms to drag me from the water when you need
Water displacement in the obese body is a magical thing. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. That'll be you in the water.
No, thrashing and crying will be me in the water.
I am going to get some kind of cattle prod is probably the wrong term, but something like an obedience stick to kind of get you at heel. Doing all this in a hotel pool would be so great. Is he shocking that man? That's cool. I'm teaching him how to swim. I don't remember this much crying.
Nathan, I need my water wings. No.
You keep trying to reach up and grab him. I'm zapping you. You just got to teach him there's worse things than drowning.
Nathan, please.
Right back under the water. Got to get them sea lungs.
My eyes burn. I don't like the water feels in my ears.
Gotta get you used to having your eyes open underwater.
Oh God, I can't do it. I'd hate it. Yeah, it's you would just be the most recent in a long line of philanthropic fools.
They didn't have the follow through that I do. They might have had other dreams. I have such little going on, Marlin, that I could make this all encompassing in my life that while you're sleeping, I will be in front of a marker board figuring out what the next strategy is.
You sound like every polo-wearing douchebag trying to hit on a lesbian in a bar. You've never had it like I got it. So trust me.
Yeah,
I'll change your mind.
Well, that'll be my goal after I get you swimming.
Oh, Christ.
You've never learned the T-touch tickle technique.
Oh, I don't like that voice.
I got this character over here going all around the pool at the Comfort Inn. You've got such Stockholm syndrome that you will go to the pool yourself and swim around the edge just for the fear that I might show up and you're not swimming. See how much fun this is, Marlin?
Just mentally broken.
Yep. No joy in it at all. Sometimes I wish I could drown.
Someday Nathan will let me drown.
But not today. Today, more splashing.
Yeah. No water wings. Prove you don't need them, then you can have them. You know, that dad logic. All right. Well, enjoy your rainy 3-day, buddy.
There we go. You too. Remember that freedom isn't free. You need to celebrate the troops. I think, at this point, if it isn't Christmas or Thanksgiving, you can kind of just assume we're going to make it about the troops. Isn't that kind of how it's went?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's about the troops. If you're ever wondering about a weird American holiday, it's about imperialism.
Yeah. I look forward to all of the Facebook messages over the weekend trying to cast guilt on you for enjoying a barbecue.
Yeah. And you casually mentioned we haven't been in a just war in over 75 years.
Yeah.
What a positive ending for this podcast.
Go America.
Yeah, we did it.
All right.
Sorry? Is that what we do now? Our bad.
Sometimes I feel about America the same way as I feel about Insane Clown Posse. Like, I'm not one of those fans. I'm just here, okay?
I don't need to celebrate this. I get it. I obviously enjoy it. I haven't left, but...
By the way, I had more than one person text me this past week with expressing some manner of surprise that you are not into Insane Clown Posse.
Oh.
After last week's ICP talk.
Interesting. I don't know
I
if
had
that's...
more than one person text me and be like, really? Nathan isn't? Huh.
I'm not sure how to take that. Yeah.
You're giving out Juggalo vibes, apparently.
I obviously have the build.
We all do.
There's not a lot of face paint at marathons.
We all look like third-hand beanbag chairs.
I look like sad offensive linemen.
9 through 13 is next week's batch of episodes. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, at BarleyBasketUSA. Email is barleybasketUSA@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook as well. Tell your friends we're pumping them numbers, baby. We gotta get them numbers up.
We gotta goose them numbers.
Call this our pledge drive, but we're not asking for money, just iTunes reviews and tell a friends.
And ears.
So, yeah. So let them know. Be like, yo, I got this sick-ass Simpsons podcast that's barely about the Simpsons.
They really need this. I mean, feel free to paint it as it is.
Yeah, these two Gleep and Gloop host it. It's not bad. You should listen. All right, everyone enjoy yourselves. We'll see you next week.
Whoop, whoop.